Let's go back to this Sheila. Yassmin Abdel-Magied. I've mispronounced, but who cares? So she posts, lest we forget, on Facebook. Can we show this again? So she posts, lest we forget, Manus, Nauru, Syria, Palestine. Kaboom! I got that one in there, all the lefty talking points. And then, after everyone pointed out that it was absurd what she wrote, she says, it was brought to my attention that my last post was disrespectful. For that, I apologise unreservedly. She then puts the third post up where she drops the rest of it. Well, Michael Smith, who is very good at finding things out on the internet, he's brought this to everyone's attention this evening, that, guess what? She didn't need to be taught anything. Because if you go to the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade website, if you go to the Council of Australian Arab Relations, if you go to the management section, if you go to the bio of this Sheila, it has, among other things, that one of her many things she has done is she has served on the Federal Anzac Centenary Commemoration. This didn't need to be brought to her attention. She was part of a committee that put the 100-year anniversary commemorations together. Peter, I don't accept her apology, and I double down on that now. She knew what she was doing, absolutely knew what she was doing.
So this is a culpability beyond just, you know, crazy fingers and saying something you regret. She has culpability that she's obviously sat in a room with people and veterans and, you know, Veterans Affairs, military officials, a whole bunch of people to organise the centenary of Anzac commemorations about 2 years ago. They were held, as you know, in Gallipoli. She's part of that whole period that was still going on now. There's Passchendaele this year and there is the Western Front campaign that we're commemorating at the moment. She was part of all of that. She knows better than anybody, Paul, notwithstanding the fact that we have spent thousands of dollars of taxpayers' money by the Department of Foreign Affairs and Julie Bishop to send her all around the Middle East to preach from her book about how wonderful Australia is to women and Muslims and a whole range of other things. She then says it's a feminist religion. She does all of this. I mean, she is absolutely without credibility.
And just in case anyone thinks we're doing a bit of fake news here is the website of which I just quoted. Super producer, there we go. That's Michael who put the big swirl around it. I double-checked on the thing as well.
You know the gutless thing, Paul? She's not fronting.
No.
She shut down her Twitter.
Nothing on Twitter yet. Nothing.
Ran on the Australian early today. The Australian says, well, she's gone missing. We can't get comment from her. Now, you put something out there like that with your backstory about Centenary of Anzac preparations. You've got that backstory. Front it.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, Nicholas, it's in her bio. I mean, seriously, she knew what she was doing today. She was trying to put in the little sort of needless lefty cultural jab, knowing that this day gets this reaction. Now, that's fine if you're a Twitter troll, but if you're somebody who has a bio on the DFAT website that claims, as we've just shown you, that you are part of the commemoration of the centenary, I don't accept her apology.
Well, look, I think it's stupid what she's done. She's been very, very silly in trying to politicise Anzac Day in that way, but I mean, she did withdraw the comments very quickly and then she absolutely apologised unreservedly for what she'd put in that tweet. I mean, I do think it's unsad, Paul, that you won't accept her apology and why you're both hopping into her, and I'll explain why. I mean, Anzac Day is an Anglo-Celtic tradition in Australia, and that's because when the First World War occurred, Australia was an Anglo-Celtic country.
I'm not having a go at her because of her
Anzac
faith,
Day,
please.
Anzac Day is now something which is important to Anglo-Celtic Australians, but should be important to all Australians. Hang on, let me finish. And the fact that Yassmin has that role and can be a force for good in expanding the meaning of Anzac Day to all Australians, I think we should give her the benefit of the doubt, accept that she made a mistake and she's asked for forgiveness, and let's try and move on and make Anzac Day something that's meaningful for as many Australians as possible.
Well, mate, I've just spoken to a member of the ADF. I showed images from around the country. I've done plenty of commemoration and I'll do so a little bit later. But I mean, Peter, again, I'm not hooking into this Sheila because of the history of this, that and the other. I'm hooking in because she knows better. She made a deliberate choice today, not a mistake.
Well, and she's also not just an ingenue or a Twitter troll. I mean, she's been put up as a commentator on many things. She's had a platform on the Q&A program for a number of years. She's seen to be a legitimate spokesperson on a range of issues, notwithstanding women's issues, the religion of Islam and other things. So she's seen as a credible voice. She knows better. She knows better.
But it's Manus and Syria, please.
She knows better. And it's a grubby point scoring. And I have to take issue with you, Nick. The origins of the 25th of April campaign that has given us Anzac Day were origins of Australia at that time. I accept that. But this is not an Anglo-Celtic.
It's not a white pride day, mate.
No, because today commemorates the young conscript in Vietnam as much as it does someone in a task force in Afghanistan.
Well, the transgender person serving right now in Afghanistan.
My grandpa, who was wounded in New Guinea in the jungles with the Fuzzy Wuzzies, right? In Papua New Guinea, the Fuzzy Wuzzies, people of colour. Today, we had the Indigenous soldiers lead off the Canberra service. I mean, there's a whole range of faces and voices and now genders involved in Anzac Day. And she knows better than that. I do not accept it. She's just been called out and embarrassed and she's pulled it back. But it is wrong, and I hope it is wrong tomorrow and the next day as much as it is wrong tonight.
All right, let's move on. Nicholas, write a reply.
Well, look, again, I'm not defending what she's saying, but it is worth pointing out that she is a face of young Muslim women in Australia. She backed off very quickly, apologised unreservedly, and I think we should, in the spirit of Anzac and making it as meaningful as possible and keeping that spirit going for as many Australians, we should give her a break on this one.
Always the right,
I mean, I don't think
so. The greatest thing is me not.
I mean, I don't think her actions are any worse than, you know, Woolworths putting their slogan on people's photos, brewing companies with their Razor Glass campaign associating
which raises
alcohol
money for
consumption with the Anzac tradition, or even like these posters that are doing the rounds of, you know, men scantily clad promoting gay dance parties on Anzac Day. I think all of that is bad. I think it's all of that is bad.
To pull together the commemoration. The nightclub owner in King's Cross, has not sat around the table to plan the centenary of Anzac commemorations. That guy from the nightclub does not sit on Q&A and preach to the rest of the country. That guy that sits, the guy from the nightclub is not someone who is held out as someone significant, particularly for women in this country. Those comments are wrong.
All right.
Yeah, but, well, you've just spent 5 minutes offloading on the young Muslim woman who put out a stupid tweet which she's apologised for, but you're not saying anything critical about all those other, what I think are breaches of the Anzac spirit.
Well, watch my show tomorrow, Nick, or listen to other things I've said. I mean, we've only just basically started this program. If you want me to have a litany of complaints against the left, it'll be a bloody long show.
No, but also, look, Nick, I agree with you about those who try to commercialise. I agree with those who try to do this stuff. I hate the people who sell, you know, the Chinese made. I get all of that. 100%, I agree. But I'm sorry.
Good. OK, we agree on that.
Yeah, but
let's give that equal time.
Well, but hang on. We're not going to say that the equal sin is me not accepting the apology from a Sheila who knew what she was doing.
There's no moral equivalency.
Now, Syria, OK, I understand. Syria, civil war. OK, fine. There's active issues going on there, right? To use Palestine as the political argument against Israel, and Manus is the argument that has nothing to do with armed conflict. Nothing to do with armed conflict in Australia right now. It's about whether people should be in those camps or whether they should be here. Anyway, we could go all night, and if everyone wants to have their own say, you've all got your own shows to push back on if you want to. Fair enough. But anyway, please. All right, let's turn our attention to that opinion poll that I mentioned.